Welcome to another exciting episode of the Million Dollar Peddlers. I'm Paper Guy.
And I'm Mr. Magazine.
And I want to apologize in advance on this video.
We started without saying Mr. Magazine. Okay, go ahead.
Mr. Magazine. I want to apologize in advance. Random Neighborhood Kid has not had the chance to come over. So if this freezes up, treat it like a podcast. I just want to let you know. Because we're on a limited amount of time right now before we get started. And we got to get these videos up. So.
Is there a way you can freeze up and I don't? That would be a good show. Anyway, I'd be happy, but no good show. Moving on.
Oh, all right. Today's question, Mr. Magazine, comes from me. Or it's actually more of a statement, and I want your opinion about it as it applies to your reselling business, my reselling business, and everybody out there who's watching is reselling business.
So there's no wrong answer.
Matters. Could be. You'll find it. I have faith in you. You'll find it.
Thanks.
To quote your hat there, don't make excuses, just do it.
Okay.
How does that tie into reselling business and business in general?
Well, I think if you want to be successful, that slogan works perfectly. You have to do it. It's like they say about the lottery, you can't win unless you play. Well, you can't be successful unless you work hard and put a lot of time into it. So you got to just do it. Hopefully you enjoy doing it, but if you want to build up your brand, your business, you certainly have to do it. You have to work hard, and by working hard, that is doing it. What do you think?
Yeah. I was more focused on the first part.
Just?
Yes, yeah, that one word, that was it. Yes, we need to be fair. No, don't make excuses. And the reason why is, I'll give you an example. Sometimes just doing the show can be difficult to make the time on a Wednesday. We do make the time, and you've done very, very well. I had COVID the one time, yet we figured out a way to do the show.
Yeah.
There are times, and I know you're going to make a Macaulay Culkin face when I say this, but there are times when my Whatnot shows may not be the greatest shows. I may not have the kind of money. Wow, thank you. I may not have the revenues that I wanted from it, and there are times when you're in a down slump, and it isn't just over on Whatnot. The same thing happens over on eBay, where you're just not having sales.
Yeah.
And what is the easiest thing to do?
Give up, quit, make excuses.
Make an excuse. Absolutely. Well, I know I should hold my Whatnot show, but boy, I really don't feel well. Or, yeah, I should list some items on eBay, but I've been meaning to sit there and clean the garage. I'll do that instead. And guess what? It's really hard to do once you've walked away for a number of days.
Get back into that zone.
Absolutely right. So that's where you absolutely have to fight your way through, even though it's not at all what you want to do.
Yeah.
You much rather would do something else. Now, I did break my own code a couple of weeks ago. I actually did reschedule a Whatnot show, but it was one of those days at work where I literally, at the end of that day, was completely and totally wiped out. Mm-hmm. I said, I have to do it today. So there are times where you do have to reschedule things. Obviously, it's not like I could schedule my Whatnot show, or say you did Whatnot, and then all of a sudden you get a phone call from your kid's school. You've got to come down. An emergency happened. Well, I'll come down in an hour and a half, right, when I'm done selling these items. This should be a wonderful show. Hey, everybody, buy a lot of stuff. I'm going to need some money to bail my kid out of jail. Let's get this sale started. No, obviously you're not going to do that.
No.
At that point, that trumps everything because it is a true emergency.
Right.
Likewise, you've got a Whatnot show scheduled for 4 o'clock today. It's 2:30. You're in Hornell, which is an hour away, and it's a terrible snowstorm. Hey, I'm going to drive 90 miles an hour in the middle of a terrible snowstorm just so I can make it home in time for the show. No, that would be another situation where it's okay to cancel the show.
Right.
So use it kind of more as a guideline. I mean, life does happen. Somebody gets sick, you truly are sick, you're in the hospital, whatever. Yeah, obviously don't just do it at that point. But if it's just one of those, if you can do it, force yourself to do it. Because again, it's so easy to make up excuse week after week, and 1 week turns into 2, and 2 turns into 3, and next thing you know, it's been 3 months since you did it, and you're like, yeah, I probably need to do that again.
Well, in the immortal words of John Taffer from Bar Rescue, what did he say? I don't want to hear excuses. I want to hear solutions.
There you go. That's absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct on that. Now, have there been any situations with any of your employees where they have avoided something or other, and then finally you just had to say, just get it done?
Yeah, they avoid their job as much as they can. Yes.
Probably something specific with listing is probably what comes to mind.
Their problem is they like to do things on their own without asking, is this right? Should I do it this way? And then we end up having to change things around, go back, fix them, and revise them and stuff like that.
Well, can I ask a question while you keep that in your mind?
Yeah.
Are they employees who think they're doing what's right, or are they employees who are just going off the reservation just because? In other words, if I went and I did something and I made a decision for you, it might not be the right decision,
right,
but it's based on 20, 30 years of knowledge.
Yeah, I mean, some feel they're doing what's right. And, I had this one kid that's, the computer kid. He was taking all these Amazon magazines and checking them and then putting the other ones on eBay. I said, honestly, and he doesn't know eBay too well, and he doesn't know good magazines unless he lists on Amazon. So I said, listen, you're wasting your time with these. We're not putting these on eBay. eBay's slow right now. These magazines will never sell. I knew what titles they were. I go, let's take these old stock toys off the shelf and get them back on Amazon and eBay because it'll generate money quicker. But he thought he was doing good, and he did it on his own, which I like that. It's just not the way I wanted to run that part of the business at that time, But then there's other people that do things to cater their own needs, and that's when you kind of step in and say, hey, it's not that I don't want to throw rank that it's my company, but like you and me, I've done this 30 years, and I know what's best for me and my company, and you have to listen to that and not just make up your own thing to suit yourself,
Right. But so you were going to give an example before I cut you off for the 114th time, as to excuses that they make that you then have to get them back on track a little bit. Is it something probably that they've been putting off, I would think.
Yeah, something they don't. Well, they have their own scared pile too, or things that they don't want to put a lot of time into, so they'll set them aside. And every Friday, we started doing hey, exactly. We have this one area where we got the 3 listers, the main listers in this one area, and we bring stuff in all the time. And obviously, they can't get to it all. But what I try to do is, hey, instead of listing these 100 comics that are easy, cheap, and slow selling, let's, it's going to be slower, but let's take these bigger items, get them out of here, let's make some room in there. So every Friday we kind of do a listing cleanup area in their rooms. They got more room in there. It might slow you down. It might take 10 minutes per each listing because they're bigger, more pictures, this measuring, weighing, all this Terapeak, but let's get it out of here. So that's something we started putting in place on Friday so they can, because they'll get off track, and they, I try to leave them be, but sometimes I give them so much stuff, and then I go in there and they're listing $8 cars. I'm like, well, don't list $8 cars. List the $25 trucks or planes or this or that first, and then get to that stuff at the end of the day, so.
Right. Yeah, so hopefully that helps you a little bit. You know what the most important thing...
hitting the like button.
You stole my thunder. Just do it. But yeah, don't make excuses as to why you're not hitting the like button. Just do it. But overall, hopefully this helped you a little bit. Just don't get in that rut because it's very, very hard.
By the way, this is a Nike Just Do It Jordan, and I bought this at the outlets a few weeks ago. Unfortunately, it was as is.
Right.
And I got home and there was a little hole here. So I just did it. I bought it, and now I got to do it again.
There you go. All right, everybody. We'll see you next video.
Take care. Bye-bye.